go. Okay. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Notes and Quotes podcast. Today is super, super special because I have my first ever guest, who is my friend and Grenadian Deon-Já Auld. And I just want to preface this by saying I mispronounce Deon-J's name all the time. So if you hear me say Deon-Ja and she corrects me, just let her correct me, and because I'm a mess when I say her name all the time, like all the time. So I'm gonna just jump right in and do her little introduction so that she can have her little time to shine. So here is her bio. Deon-Já Auld is a native Grenadian and emerging leader in development, culture, and art. She is currently pursuing a bachelor's in social sciences with a concentration in gender and development, political science, and criminology at the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus. Her academic journey is also marked by numerous awards in debate, science fairs, and leadership. And professionally, Deon-Já has excelled in radio journalism, advertising, costume design, and pageant coaching. Her fashion brand, Dima, celebrates Caribbean history and culture with designs featured in events such as UWI's Carnival and the Grenada National Queen Show. She has held key roles, including events officer from the UWI Cave Hill Guild of Students and president of the Grenada Student Association at UWI. In response to Hurricane Beryl's devastating impact on her community, Deon-Já has become a passionate advocate for climate justice, raising awareness and support for those affected. Her dedication to leadership and creative design is matched by her commitment to fostering cultural pride and community resilience. Deon-Já strives to leave a positive impact on everyone she meets, which is true, making her a compelling voice in the fight against climate change and its psychological effects. Hi, Deon-Já.
So first off, I want to start by saying thank you so much for having me. I'm truly honored to be your very first guest. Oh my god.
Of
And I'm
course.
so proud of you. And yeah, I can't
Stop.
wait.
Me neither. So, the way that we start all of these episodes is that we're going to start off with a quote. And because I have a special guest today, I have let her choose her own quote. So, Deonja, do you want to tell us what your quote is today?
Okay, so climate change just does not just affect our environment. It transforms our minds, alters our outlook on life, challenges our resilience, and reshapes our sense of security. Now, when Naomi told me to choose a quote, I was like, choose a quote, girl. I literally searched the internet timeline and I couldn't really and truly find a quote that truly resonated with me and my experience with Beryl. So I decided to come up with my own quote. We came up with one, and yeah, and that one really resonated with me and my experience and how I felt after Beryl hit my community. Yeah.
As you should. I remember when you sent the quote to me like a day before we were filming this, and I was like, "Oh my god, yes. I love that quote because it's so true." And I don't think that I see many quotes about climate change talking about it in that way, in the psychological sense and how it impacts people personally. So, love that. Like that's your trademark quote now. She's an advocate. Okay, so about Hurricane Beryl. I think it happened like maybe 3 weeks ago, was it? Or was it like a month ago now?
Ooh, I feel like I honestly feel like it was like yesterday,
I
literally.
know, I know, I
Yeah.
know.
I think it was. I'm not sure. I think it was like 3 weeks ago. I'm not.
Yeah,
Was it?
roughly like
Is it a
three
month
weeks
yet?
ago.
Yeah.
It
What's?
feels
Yeah. It's not a month
I
yet.
can't remember. It's
It'll
not
be
like
a
a
month
full
next
month
week.
yet.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Can you tell us a little bit about it and like how it impacted you and your community?
Honestly, I wasn't expecting it to be that serious. Like we
Mm,
saw all the signs, we saw all the news, we got all the alerts, but I really wasn't expecting it to be that serious. In fact, 2 days before the storm, I was in Barbados, and my mom called me that time the storm was heading to Barbados. It wasn't heading
mm,
to Grenada, and my mom called me and she was like, "Deontay, you need to come home." And I'm like, "Why do I need to come home? Like it's just a storm, it's fine." And she's
yeah.
like, "No, I don't want you in Barbados, and there's a storm happening, and I'm going to be worrying like crazy if I can't reach you." So I did. I did in fact went home, and I'm grateful that I did. And yeah, the day before the storm, it was fine. Outside was so hot, like it was really really hot, and I think didn't take the storm serious until the
Mm.
storm was actually there. Like
Yeah.
everything was cool, the morning was fine. We got up, we made breakfast, like we were just going about our day as normal. And it really hit me when I saw my neighbor's house just like caved in. And
Mm.
then
Wow.
there's this breadfruit tree that I grew up. It's taller than me. Taller than the breadfruit tree's tall. And I was taking a video of it, and I went inside to show my mom the video, and then I heard someone who was staying with us. He was like, "Look, the breadfruit tree's gone." I'm like, "What? What do you mean the breadfruit tree's gone? I just took a video of it." And at that moment is when it was like I was like, okay,
This is real. This is serious.
yeah, this is real. Like it sunk in, and then all the trees around us fell. And then we were just hearing the galvanize from all the different houses around us, and a barrel lift up hit my mom's car. It was
Whoa.
just I was really actually scared, and I was scared for my dad too because my dad was not living with me, so yeah, it was just, and even the aftermath too, because after it was all well and done, I took a walk, outside to my neighbors to see how they fared with the storm, and just
Hmm.
seeing how badly their houses were damaged. It was just like, I honestly cried, like I cried, because it was like, because I called my friend, and I was like, yo, like it's bad, like it's bad, bad,
Hmm.
and then it was even worse when we couldn't reach anyone because we didn't have any service. Like the service was down, so we couldn't contact anyone, and like no one knew what was happening in my parish. They only knew what was happening in Carriacou. And mind you, Carriacou, you could actually, based on where you're at in St. Patrick, you would see Carriacou because I'm from St. Patrick, which is a northern parish of Grenada. You would
Hmm.
see Carriacou. So most of the relief efforts was heading to Carriacou because people really didn't know that my parish and my community was still severely damaged. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
it
you're
was
like
it was
kind
just
of in the dark.
frustrating. Yeah, we were. It honestly felt like you were like screaming into an abyss, or like you were like, "Hi, can you see me? Like we're here. We need help too." You know?
Hmm.
Yeah, it was really really bad, and even a lot of kids lost their homes. And yeah, my godmother, she couldn't come. She's a parish doc, like she's one of the main doctors in the parish, and she couldn't get out of her because she lives in like an inside village, and she couldn't
Hmm.
get out because all the trees were down. She couldn't, so in case there was an emergency, what would have happened then? And yeah, it was just a sad sight to see. Not only the houses got damaged, but a lot of the rich vegetation in Grenada. Like mango trees. I know growing up picking mangoes from helping my grandmother get up in the morning, helping my grandmother picking up mangoes. All those seeing those trees fall down, seeing those trees being, and it's not like to say okay they're broken, so like
Hmm.
they would grow back. Like they were literally rooted up from the ground. So
That's
I'm
insane.
yeah, I've never had an emotional attachment to a tree in my life. Like ever. That's why my quote says, it changes your outlook on life because it's like a lot of the things that you took for granted. Like I've never really appreciated a tree like that.
Hmm.
And it took a hurricane to come to my village and root up the trees around me for me to, appreciate trees and the mango trees and the breadfruit trees around my house as much as I do now.
Yeah. I
Even
mean,
in some
but
months
it's
that they like they
literally, sorry, yeah, it's literally your entire environment, like your comfort zone,
yeah,
everything that you've ever
yeah,
known in like a couple hours just uprooted. That's insane. That definitely does
yes,
take a toll on you.
yes, that's true. My mom, my grandma, and we took a drive, and like it was like there's some places like we just couldn't pass because like there was trees in the road and stuff. I don't like we were driving and like we could like the vehicle was quiet. Like it's like we're
Wow.
like okay, like nobody and like everybody was speechless, so we couldn't even express how we felt. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think for a lot of persons too, it wasn't just Beryl. Because I don't know if you know, but Grenada experienced a hurricane a couple of years ago up Ivan. So it
Hmm.
kind of brought back that trauma. A lot of people did not know that they had trauma from Ivan, and it brought back that trauma. Because my mom, like some people, like even my mom, were having conversations. Instead of saying Beryl, she would say Ivan. She
Wow,
said, "Oh,
yeah.
Ivan did this." She would mistake the two, and it's like, okay, you know, it was just a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It
I
was a
think
lot.
sometimes like people don't even realize like how how much of a mental toll different events have on you. Like to have a hurricane
That's
as
true.
bad as Ivan, and
That's
then
true.
to have something just a few years later that's similar, and you didn't even expect. That's the other thing that got me. Like you didn't even expect it to be that bad.
Yeah,
Like it didn't even feel like it was gonna be that bad.
yeah.
Like your mom thought, oh no, it's gonna hit Barbados bad, so you need to come back home. And then the
Hmm.
opposite happened, and in a few
And
hours,
yep,
everything changed. That's insane. How long
everything,
was it? How
everything
long was
changed.
like the whole
I would say
experience?
I would say it lasted for about an hour or two, but it felt like it felt like a really long time. Because I remember my
Mm,
mom saying, "When is this going to be over? Like, when is it
yeah,
going to be over?" Because it lasted a really long time. It lasted like it was a. I don't wanna lie. Probably like an hour and a half,
mm,
or two. Yeah, around there.
yeah. But like one
Yeah,
hour kind of like flattened everything.
yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing. Like in the space of 1 hour, so many things got damaged.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm only talking about my parish, St. Patrick. But when you look at Union Island, when you look at the Grenadian Islands, when you look at Carriacou, when you look at Petit Martinique, it's like it's really, really, really bad. And I love Carriacou. I love Carriacou. Carriacou is a vacation spot for myself and my family.
Mm-hmm.
And just looking at the videos and some of the things that we enjoyed, while going to Carriacou, it's no more. It's not there, and it's just it it it's like it's a feeling that I can't I just can't explain. You can
Yeah.
I don't wish it on anybody, but you have to experience it to know it. You have it's I don't know how to explain. I just something just gone in a blink of an eye. It's
Yeah, no, I
crazy.
mean that's totally understandable. It's like an indescribable experience to just have everything you know ripped
Yeah,
apart in the span of like 1 hour, especially when you weren't anticipating anything like that. So how do you
yeah.
personally even cope with an experience like that, with the aftermath of that, and just going outside, like you said, when you were driving with your family, and just seeing everything and all of the impacts of it? How do you like personally, mentally cope with all of that?
Honestly, it was hard. Like, I think I tried to cope in terms of, raising awareness, like you said, I did on social media and trying to get help for my people. Because as I said
Mm-hmm.
before, person did not know that my community was damaged. Like nobody knew. So I was
Mm-hmm.
trying as much as possible to share the content on social media so people could, know that there's people in my past who need help. And I think that's where I got my comfort in helping people and trying to raise awareness because I just couldn't sit there and do nothing.
Yeah.
It just I couldn't sleep at night because I remember one night there was no electricity, and I love to sleep with a fan straight on me. I love to sleep with air
Same.
condition, and that yeah, and not having that, like, I couldn't sleep that night. The mosquitoes were biting all my cheeks, my forehead, everything, and that coupled up with the emotional baggage, knowing there's people that does not even have a roof to sleep on.
Yeah.
The only thing that I could have done was try to help and try to raise awareness. That's where I found my peace. That's where I could have coped. Like, I couldn't. I still don't think that I'm over it, and I don't think that I ever will be.
Mhm.
Because we there's people that have lost so much. There's a lot of
Yeah.
things that we have emotional ties to that were gone. So I don't think that I would ever be over it. But I'm trying my best, trying to raise awareness wherever I can. Yeah,
I
that's why
love that.
I'm
As you
here.
should. Yeah. I mean, I love that you're advocating for your community. That's why I wanted to have you here to like discuss all of that. And I also feel like climate
Honestly,
change in a sense is just so it's obviously a big issue when it comes to the physical sense, like all of the physical damage that happens, but a lot of times it's not really talked about the psychological impacts
yeah,
of it and the
long-term effects.
mental
That's
health.
true.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the mental toll that it has on communities and the people that experience climate change, it's just not an issue that's talked about, but it's just as critical as the physical damage that happens. So, for you, having experienced this firsthand, do you think that there has been a lot of outreach to address the mental health impacts of this event, whether it's from the government or non governmental organizations?
Not that I know of. No, I don't
Mm,
think so. Not that I know of. I think there's mainly a focus on trying to get them relief items like water, sanitary products, food, etc., etc. So I don't
hmm.
think that much is being done in terms of the mental health aspect. I
Yeah,
don't I don't think much is ever being done in terms because even with Ivan, if something was done for the mental health during Ivan, then a lot of people wouldn't have had the trauma that they have now, with
right. Yeah.
resurfacing with Beryl.
I mean, that's insane too, because when you have literally a traumatic event and it's ripping away everything that everybody knows, not even just in like a physical sense with their homes and their everyday activities and everything, but their comforts, everything they've ever
That's true.
known,
That's true.
it literally, of course it will have a mental health toll on you. Of course it will
Yeah.
have like a major
Yeah.
emotional response, and it's extremely traumatic.
Yeah.
So to yes, we need to have
Uh,
the health packages
the
and
basics,
the
food, water.
yeah, exactly. But then there still needs to be some outreach in terms of helping people cope psychologically
You're
with the
absolutely right.
impacts. So, another one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on is because you obviously are a young person, not only from Grenada, but you represent young people as well. And as we know, young people are on the front lines of climate change and the climate crisis. So, what is it like for them when tragedies like this hit, especially people who are from there who experience it firsthand?
It's hard. We're used to
Yeah.
Wi-Fi. We're used to electricity 24/7. And when that's taken away from us, yo, the days after Beryl was probably the longest days of my life.
Mhm.
I swear to you, it'll be 10 o'clock and I'm thinking that it's 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm like, why is the day moving so slow? Because
Yeah.
there's nothing to do because you're constantly used to being on your phone. You're constantly used to watching TV, watching shows, and when that is removed from you, you're like, I don't know.
Mhm.
You're like a chicken with no head. It's really really hard. Honestly, it's really really. It sounds very shallow, but it's hard to not have all the stuff that you're used to. And for
Yeah.
the people in Caracas, it's not only that. It's like not having showers, not being able to have a good shower, not being able to wash your clothes. Like that is hard as a young person. Really,
Mhm.
really, really hard. You remember like during Bear, like it really weighed on me because I'm like, okay, you guys cannot reach me. I can't reach you
Yeah.
guys. I don't want you guys to be worrying about me in that
Oh my
sense. So
gosh,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
I
it was
remember
hard. It was
that.
hard.
I remember that. I was watching Beryl cuz I was in the UK obviously when that was happening, and I was looking at all of the impacts on the different countries in the region. And I saw the impacts from Grenada, and I was like, "Oh my god, Deon-Já, like I need to message her." And I was like, "I can't even get in contact with her. Like they don't have
Yeah,
electricity, they don't have Wi-Fi." And I was like so worried. And then everybody in our little group chats were like,
group chat. Yeah,
"Okay, yeah, we need to like make sure that you're
yeah.
good." And it was just like, I don't know, such a shock as well. Because I think another thing is that when you look at issues like climate change and when you look at like the natural disasters that happen, it's you can kind of separate yourself in a way. Like you can look at it
Yes,
through a from a distance, like through a
yes,
screen, and you're like, oh my god, that's
yes.
such a big tragedy. But then you're still mentally separated until it actually happens
Actually
to you.
happens. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the regrets I have, not being an advocate sooner. Like I'm
Hmm.
sad. I'm truly sad at the fact that they had to take it to happen to me. Like it had to happen to me for me
Hmm.
to want to advocate about it. Like that's just sad. Like I hate the fact that I had to be reactive instead of being proactive. I hate that. I hate the fact that it had to happen to me. I hate the fact that it had to happen to a lot of people. For me,
Yeah.
it had to happen close to home for me
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
to truly feel it, actually understand. And it's like, it hurts because like when I feel like when it happened to Dominica, I was really distraught about it. But I didn't take it as serious as I did like when it happened to me and to
Hmm.
my family and to my friends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because there is a level of desensitization. I mean, it happens with everything. Like if you watch a lot of action movies or if you play like a lot of video
yeah,
games, you'll be desensitized to murder and stuff like that. And now because climate change has been on a rampage, a lot of people are becoming desensitized and very
sensitized. Yeah,
apathetic to climate disasters. And I also feel like when you're in it, it's like it hits you in the face like a reality, just like,
yeah,
oh, this is real, like this is
real.
actually
Yeah,
very much
yeah,
happening.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
you're on the other side of the screen because you see all of the people on like GoFundMe's asking for help and stuff like that, and you just like, oh, thoughts and prayers, click, moving past, and I'm
yes.
gonna watch a video of the Kardashians now, and then
Sorry,
you're on the
sorry,
other
sorry.
side of it, like
Yeah,
asking for funds and asking for help, and you already know that people are not gonna
yeah.
truly understand it in the way that
Should be
you are
understand because
understanding it.
you were yeah because you were on the other end of that screen and like
Yeah,
that's the main reason why I felt so invisible because I know like I knew that I was invisible. I knew that
yeah,
people was like just scrolling through all the things that I was posting. I knew that people didn't care. Like I knew like
yeah,
they couldn't, like they cared but they didn't care. So yeah, I think that's where the main frustration came from for me, because my house wasn't damaged. Like my house was fine. The
hmm,
only thing that I had to battle with was no water, no electricity. But I think that's where the true frustration came from, trying to reach out and trying to get help for those in need and feeling unseen and unheard. Because I remember
yeah,
making a post like, I feel so, I've never in my life felt so invisible. It's like,
yeah.
I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It definitely would. I mean, I can't imagine that has such a psychological toll on you because you know what you're feeling, you know what you're experiencing, and you're
Yeah.
begging for assistance because there's nothing else you can do, and you're just completely invisible. So how do you? And that's I just like I think it's this extremely, like you said, frustrating. So how do you even deal with something like that? Like how do you deal with those frustrations when you're doing every single thing that you can, but it's like a block. Like you literally just feel invisible.
Honestly, at one point I felt like not posting at all. Like I honestly felt like just give it up because it's like, okay, you're posting and you're not getting through to anyone, so what is the reason? And
Mm,
I think the only thing that kept me sane is praying and like just hoping and praying that someone sees it and like just see like my friends, like for instance you and other friends from overseas posting it and helping me reach more people like that just meant a lot. It just meant a lot, yeah, and like the support from family members and hearing the voices of friends, our friend group, and just everyone
yeah.
just hearing that they cared and they knew what I was going through and they were trying to get help for me as much as help for my country and help of my community as much as I was. I think that brought peace.
Which is great. I'm so happy that it could because when you go through something like that, it's very difficult to find peace. Because I don't think,
Yeah, it is.
thankfully, Barbados has not been hit by something that has been as absolutely devastating, but we are also extremely vulnerable. I remember a few years ago we had a storm. It was like I'm probably wrong about this because I don't have the actual statistics, but I think it was like a category 1 storm or hurricane, and it was only for like maybe 30 minutes. It wasn't even for an hour or 2 hours,
Was
and
that the freak storm? Was that the freak
yeah,
storm?
yeah, yeah, yeah. The freak
Oh,
storm, I think that
yeah, I
happened.
had.
And it just like it it was so bad. It was so much worse than you would actually expect it to be. I think it was only a hurricane for a few minutes, but it was mainly a storm. And there wasn't electricity or water access for lots of people in the island for like about a week or 2 weeks. And there was so much damage all over the place. And that was just like a little storm. And so you're kind of
Yeah,
living.
so you could imagine a category 5 hurricane,
Yes.
category
Yeah.
4.
You're
Yeah.
living constantly in fear of everything you know just being taken away from you. How do you think like your community is dealing with that now? Like just after everything.
It's kind of slowly but surely. Everything
Mm,
is just trying to, you know, go back to normal. but
Hmm.
they're coping a lot better now because in a lot of places like there's no internet yet, but there is electricity and there is water.
Hmm.
So I know for my community where I live, we don't have any internet as yet, but we have electricity and water. A couple of persons who lost their roofs are being fixed at the moment, so it's kind of like building back, trying to put together the pieces, that kind of thing. But
Hmm.
it will take a really, really, really long time, I believe, to bring back the vegetation
Yeah.
because so many trees. And what's crazy is that my parish, where I am from, the community where I'm from, is known for its rich vegetation. Like we're known for having the trees, we're known for having all the fruit trees, we're known for having, and to know that that's probably no more. Especially Grenada, one of Grenada's main exports, like the cocoa and the nutmeg. Yeah, that industry took a huge, huge hit.
So what do you think that means
Yeah,
for like people who work in that industry? Obviously, it's going to be a major economic hit, but then just
yeah,
dealing with that mentally, like how do you
yeah.
come back from that?
Honestly, I don't know how to answer that. Like, my heart goes out to the farmers.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being a farmer and coming outside after Beryl and seeing all my trees, all my vegetation gone.
Yeah,
I
your
just,
entire livelihood.
yeah. If I cried over one breadfruit tree and a couple of mango tree, who is a farmer with 36 cocoa and 46 nutmegs?
Mhm.
That has to be hard. That has to be hard.
And like you said, there aren't even enough mental health resources out there to help people with support for that, to help them get over that.
Literally they would probably get we understand we're praying for you. Let's move on.
Thoughts and
That's the
prayers.
most yes. That's a press. That's the most they're probably getting. And it's sad. It's sad because I think it's not just that. I think it's just that us as Caribbean people we don't necessarily pay attention to mental health as much as we should.
What do you think would be a suggestion to like assist with that, especially for young people who are going through tragedies like this as well? Like what do you think would even help with making mental health a priority and normalizing, you know, resilience and and resources for people to reach out to after disasters like this?
Yeah, I would say a lot of community outreach. I think as citizens of the world in general, we've lost that sense of community.
Oh
Just reaching
yeah.
out to the communities, having communities engagements, and speaking to the youth, speaking to the public. Simply, how do you feel? What
Yeah.
was your experience? Having a little talk on the
Hmm.
block, something, how do you feel? What yeah, what was your experience? How can I help? Do you want to talk about it? Simple things like that, like even going to the shelters. Because now more than ever, like everybody is, for example, in certain Karakou, everybody is practically in a shelter. So, just going into the shelters and speaking to the people and, trying to not only just like providing food and water to them, but, providing that kind of psychological support.
I love that you said that because
That
I think communities it just is so overlooked how much community can support people and just connection with other people.
yes,
When you don't
yes,
feel like you're alone, when you don't feel invisible, then you feel it just like
yes.
it's easier to cope with, you know?
There was this gentleman that lost his roof. He came to our house after the storm to talk to my mom, and he was just saying like he would just love to see a face. Like he would just
Yeah.
love to see a face. Like he's not even asking for help. Like just come and he just wants to see someone's face so that he knows someone knows that he went through that and someone cares.
I love that. Yeah. I know that that helps a lot because I remember when I was doing different outreach programs in my advocacy and stuff and going to communities that have been very very badly affected in different ways beyond just climate change but just societally, it really helps to know that people care and that people are there for
Yes,
you. You
yes,
don't even have to go to like a full therapy session to feel like somebody cares. Like you just have to be there for somebody and to actually relate to them and listen to them and just show them that they're not alone. And that does
yeah.
make a huge huge difference.
that they're not invisible. Because
Yeah.
yeah.
So we have officially come to the end of this episode. So, Deon-Já, I'm going to ask if you have anything else that you want to share with our audience. Anything at all? The floor is yours, babe.
Alright, so yeah, before the episode, I was telling Naomi about this song. It's by one of Grenadian's local artists, Vaughn. He just launched a song, and once you stream it, all the proceedings go towards helping those in need who was affected by Hurricane Beryl. So yeah, I hope Naomi could play it after the video, or should have linked or something, so you guys can go listen to it.
I love that. I'm gonna do a little. I'll play a little like interlude of the song so that people know what it sounds like and they can go stream it and support. And that actually reminds me. I think there's so many other resources as well that are out there to still give support to people in Grenada and other countries in the region that were really badly affected by Hurricane Beryl. So I'll link those as well
Sure.
alongside the episode. I think Deandra, you can probably send me some as well so that I know which ones are best.
Of course, of course.
And yeah, thank you so much. So with that, that's all we
Thank you
have.
so much for
Yeah, thank
thank you so much for
you.
having me.
This was awesome. Thank you so much for coming.
It was. It was.
My first ever guest. Yay, round of applause.
So
Woo!
hard.
So that's all that's all we have for today, guys. If you want to listen more to what Deon-Já has to say, not only about this topic, but more about the other stuff that she does, as you heard, her bio is very extensive. If you want to, Deon-Já, what are your socials that people can go check you out at?
So my Instagram is q dot underscore dot dee, and my business's Instagram dma is dima dot designs co on Instagram as well.
Yes. And if you're interested in listening to more of the Notes and Quotes podcast and figuring out just a little bit more about it, you can go check out the Notes and Quotes podcast on Instagram and TikTok at Notes and Quotes Pod, and then on YouTube at the Notes and Quotes podcast. If you're interested in figuring out more about me, you can check out my Instagram, which is Naomi A Cambridge on Instagram. And then please do give us some feedback on how you thought the podcast was, any questions you have, any potential topics. And if you're interested, then give this podcast a follow and give us a follow on the socials so that we can continue doing this. Love that. Okay, so thank you once again, Deon-Já.
Thank you for having me.
Just making this video to announce that I just released a brand new single entitled Heart of Carnival. It's available on all digital streaming platforms. Guys, the proceeds from that song will be going towards everyone that was affected by the devastation that Hurricane Beryl caused. And I'm also going to be making a $10,000 donation towards the aid of everyone that was affected by the hurricane in Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. I really hope that this song brings back the heartbeat of my people.